I am making 2-ingredient dough bagels today. So a lot of people have asked about the recipe for the 2-ingredient dough. I do also have it in my cinnamon roll recipe, but I will be sharing the recipe for the 2-ingredient dough in this video as well. So the first thing you want to start with is 1 cup of flour. I use all-purpose flour. If you have whole wheat, you can use that as well. Really any flour, make sure you can see better here. Any flour you could use. And then I'm adding 1 cup of the Liberty 0% plain fat-free. Now, a lot of people have said that they found that this recipe, it's sticky. The dough is really sticky. You can add a little bit less yogurt if you wanted to, or just add a touch more flour if you want. That can always help as well. Okay, so 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of yogurt, and you're just gonna mix that together. And then you are also adding baking powder. You're gonna add 1.5 teaspoons. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now this is to make the self-rising flour dough. If you have self-rising flour dough, you can just use that instead of this mixture. So 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder with the 1 cup of flour makes a self-rising flour. Okay, so just mix this all together. Now with this dough, it's very versatile. You can add anything that you want to this. So because we're making bagels, if you wanted to add cheese to them, if you wanted to add garlic to them, if you wanted to add chocolate chips, blueberries, anything that you want, you can add into this recipe, whatever type of bagels that you would like to make. So I am actually making everything bagels today, so I'm gonna add a sprinkling of garlic powder. So depending on how much garlic you want for the flavor in them. Okay, so just mix that up really well. Anybody else trying the 2-ingredient dough? What other things are you making? I've done the cinnamon rolls, I've done the pizza, panzerottis, dinner rolls. You can use them as a pie crust. This dough is so versatile. You can use it for so many different things. Okay, so you just wanted to get into like a dough ball. If it doesn't kind of incorporate into a ball, add a little bit of water, just a drop at a time, so that until it does. Usually about a teaspoon of water or 1/2 teaspoon of water is good, but this worked out pretty good. So, and I'm just going to flour my surface just a tad. You don't really need to be using too much with this because it is, you're not really rolling this out. You're just going to be dividing it. But the dough, it is really sticky because it is the yogurt, so. Now, I track mine as 1 cup of flour. Somebody has questioned about the flour that you're sprinkling on top. Just estimate how much you're adding. As you can see, it's very little that I'm sprinkling on top. If you wanted to count, maybe 1/8 of a cup. It's not much that you're using at all when you're sprinkling it. So, and a lot of it at the end, you are dusting off when you do shake your dough as well before you put it on your on your actual baking sheet. So, okay, so with these bagels, you can, depending on how many portions you're getting out of this dough, I usually get either 4 or 6 depending on the size of bagels that you want to use, or size of bagels that you want to get out of it. I'm gonna do 4, I think, this time. So when you're getting 4 bagels out of it with this recipe, with what I've used, it's 3 points per bagel. If you're getting 6 out of it, it's 2 points per bagel. And again, if you're adding any seasonings at all, most of the seasonings are 0 because you are adding so little of seasonings. But if you are adding any cheese or chocolate chips, make sure to account for that. I'm just going to divide this into 4 and then we'll roll it out. Now, because I am making everything bagels, I'm going to be adding toppings on the top. So you just want to do either, if you don't want to use eggs, you can use water on top, just brush it with a silicone brush. Or if you are fine with eggs, you can do an egg wash on top and then add your seasonings on top so they stick better on the top. Again, your eggs are 0 points, so it's not adding anything to it. This one's got a little bit more. So just try and make sure that they are divided evenly. I can smell the garlic. Just that little bit of garlic adds so much to it. Okay, and what you want to do is you just want to roll it out almost like a snake. Back in our Play-Doh days. So just as much as you can, depending on how thin you can get it, because it can break apart because it's only yogurt, right? So all depending on what size of bagel you want, and then you just want to turn it, round it. If you don't want the hole in the middle, because these do rise, so it will, the hole, I mean, for the most part, does close up quite a bit. So you can just have it as a solid as well. So I'm just adding these onto my silicone baking sheet. Okay, and you'll just roll these all out until you have however many bagels that you're dividing these into. So I'm going to do the 4. So I'll continue rolling these out and then I'll be back and show you how I top them and how long I bake them. Alright everyone, all the bagels have been rolled. So I did 4, so these are 3 points each. Again, if you did 6, it would be 2 points each. My recipe points out differently than a few other people that I've seen, so make sure you're checking what ingredients you have. I know WW's points it out at 12, mine points out at 3. I'm pretty sure I've seen a few videos where some have pointed them out at 17. So depending on how you're counting it, depending on your flour you're using, what type of flour you're using, and the amount. So just make sure that you're double checking everything. So I am just going to now top mine. So I'm just going to do a quick egg wash so that my everything bagel spices stick to it. So just very little you want to do on the top. And this is just, this does give it more of a golden brown top, but it's more so to just make sure that the spices are sticking to the top. And a lot of people do the get the everything bagel mix from Trader Joe's, which in Canada we don't have Trader Joe's in Canada. So unless you're going to the States or getting somebody to get it for you, you have to order it online. So I've been looking for an everything bagel spice in Canada, which I found with Epicure. I'm loving the Epicure products right now, so I'm embracing any that I can find. So I wanted to take advantage of finding this spice. So everything bagel, that's from Epicure. If anybody doesn't have an Epicure rep, let me know. I do have an amazing Epicure rep, and I can post her page as well on my Facebook group. So everything bagel spice, I'm just going to top my bagels with however much you want. If you want them more seasoned, then by all means, it's totally up to you. However much you want to top. And remember, you've got the garlic spice inside as well, so in the batter. So the flavoring is throughout the entire bagel. So there are my bagels. I'm going to pop them in the oven at 350 for, just lift you up here. I'm going to pop these in the oven. Actually, sorry, I've got my oven preheated at 375. I am putting them on because I did see a tip from other people on Pinterest to make sure that you're baking these on the top rack of your oven. So put these in the top rack of your oven at 375. I'm going to bake them for 20 to 25 minutes, depending on how hot your oven is. Just double check. Once they're golden brown, they're done. You do not want them, and I'm just warning you, this dough, when it starts turning to be over baked, it turns fast and it tastes like cardboard when you do bake it too long. So once it gets golden brown, take them out, roughly 20 to 25 minutes. I'll check on them, and once they're done, I'll be back to show you the finished product. Hey everyone, so I am back. The bagels have baked. Look at how much they rised. That tip of putting these on the top rack of your oven is key. It's definitely key. Look at how much they raised. So a lot of people, and me myself, have always complained that the dough with the 2-ingredient dough, especially for the bagels, is still a bit doughy when you bake it. It never really gets like a fluffy bread. This makes them rise so much more being on the top rack that it gives it more room so that the air, and these are going to be fluffy. So these were baked at 375 for 23 minutes. So just watch. You just want them golden brown. So that's the perfect, that's how I like them. You can freeze these. I do suggest cutting them in half before you do freeze them. And you can refrigerate them up to 5 days. So they last quite good. I've had these in my freezer for a couple weeks. They've lasted. And I'll just defrost them in the microwave and then pop them in the toaster. But these are great for just having as a bagel with cream cheese on them, having as a sandwich for lunch, anything that you can think of. These bagels are great. And like I said, you can add cheese to them. I added garlic in the everything bagel seasoning. Where did I put my seasoning? So this is the one from Epicure, which is very reasonable, the price for this. If you wanted the Trader Joe's option, you'd have to get that online or to go to the States to grab it. In Canada, we don't have Trader Joe's. I wish we did because they have so many great products at Trader Joe's. But Epicure is getting a lot of products that I see a lot of people looking for. So check out Epicure if you guys haven't yet already. But yeah, these everything bagels, so they're 3 points for the 4 or 2 points if you get 6. Again, recheck what you're using for your ingredients. My recipe for my 2-ingredient dough for the full batch is 13 points. Just double check what flour you're using, what kind, the amount that you're using. Again, if you wanted to count the extra flour that you're just rolling it out with, I would say add an extra 1/8 of a cup to your recipe when you're building your recipe. Just to make sure that that is accounted for as well. But yeah, I hope you like this recipe. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you wanted to be alerted of any new videos that I'm putting out, tap the bell button. As always, my handles are at the bottom. So on Connect, on WW, my handle is @StitchinLindy. And if you wanted to follow my journey on Facebook, my Facebook group is Stitch and Lindy's Weight Loss Journey. Thank you for watching.